Hi girls, Daddy's got a different story. It's called Katie's Picture Show. Make art an adventure. Katie and her grandma were in London for the day. When it started to rain, Grandma said, "Let's go into the National Gallery and look at the pictures." Katie took Grandma in through a big revolving door, spinning her round and round at least 7 times. Katie had never been to an art gallery before. "It's very grand, isn't it?" she said. "It is," said Grandma. "But I need a rest after those spinning doors. You go and have a look at the pictures and be sure to be back in half an hour." The first few rooms were full of people, but soon Katie found a room with no one else in it. Katie didn't know which painting to look at first. She stopped in front of a painting of a horse-drawn cart. "The Hay Wain by John Constable," she read. "Please do not touch." "Why not?" said Katie. She slowly reached her hand. To her surprise, it went right past the picture frame and into the picture. "This isn't a picture at all," cried Katie. "It's real." Then, looking carefully around her, she climbed right into the painting. Katie looked round in amazement. Then she set off through the mud to the cottage. A delicious smell of cooking came from an open window. Katie found a freshly baked apple pie cooling on the windowsill and helped herself to a large slice. It was so good, she ate all the rest as well. "Hey, that was my supper!" yelled a man on the hay wain. His dog barked, so Katie thought it might be time to go. She ran back to the picture frame and climbed into the gallery. She peered around the doorway of the next room. There was a guard sitting beside the door, but he was asleep. Katie went up to the painting she liked the best. Madame Motissière by Jean-Auguste Dominique Ingres, she read. "Please do not touch." But of course she did. "Hello," said Katie. "What a pretty dress." "Merci," said Madame Motissière. "How lovely to have some company. I sit here being looked at, but no one has ever come inside before. Will you stay for some tea and cakes?" "Yes, please," said Katie. "Now, une lampe ou deux?" asked Madame Motissière, pointing to the sugar bowl. "Trois," said Katie. That means 3, Ralia. They talked and talked, and they enjoyed seeing the surprised faces of the other visitors to the gallery. "I haven't laughed so much for years," said Madame Motissière. She had to use her fan to cool herself down. But Katie laughed so much that she spilt her tea. It was her 4th cup, all over Madame Motissière's beautiful dress. "Oh, how clumsy!" cried Madame Motissière. "Sorry," said Katie. She had also managed to get mud all over the carpet. She decided to leave before she caused any more trouble. She helped herself to another cake and jumped out of the picture and back into the gallery. Katy wandered into another room where she saw a very big painting. The Umbrellas by Pierre-Auguste Renoir, she read. She noticed a little girl with a hoop in the painting. I wonder if she'll play with me, she thought. Please do not touch, said the notice. But once again, she did. Inside the picture, it was raining. Would you like a cake? Said Katy to the little girl. Merci, she replied. Let's play with my hoop. Soon they were having a wonderful game, bowling the hoop to each other. But Katy hit the hoop so hard, it flew out of the picture. It bounced on the floor and disappeared into another painting. The little girl began to cry. Oops, sorry, said Katy. She jumped into the gallery and ran over to the other picture. It was called Surprise by Henri Rousseau. Katy said there was a tiger in the painting. Please do not touch, said the notice, but she had to find the hoop. So she climbed over the frame and into the picture. Katy found herself in a wild jungle. The wind blew and it was raining very hard. She was a bit scared of the tiger, but he ran off through the trees. Katy couldn't see the hoop anywhere, so she went after the tiger. Katy followed the tiger through the jungle. He led her past a lake full of crocodiles that snapped their jaws at her, but Katy just laughed. She climbed up a tree and helped herself to a banana. Just then, she saw the hoop hanging on a branch. Well done, tiger, said Katy, grabbing the hoop. She followed the tiger back to the picture frame and jumped into the gallery. Katy threw the hoop back into the umbrella picture. There you go, she said. The little girl was very pleased. They waved goodbye, and Katy ran off to the next room. Exhibition of Modern Art, read Katy. Do not touch. Katy looked at a very different picture. Dynamic Suprematism by Kazimir Malevich. She read. It might be fun to climb up that big triangle, she thought. Without checking to see if anyone was watching, she jumped inside the picture. Katy slid down the big triangle. Wonderful, she cried. This was the best picture yet. But Katy couldn't stop falling. She fell further and further into the painting. It was like falling into a great big mouth. Help! She cried. She didn't want to be eaten by a piece of modern art. Someone shouted, "Hang on!" It was the guard. He threw a rope into the painting and Katy grabbed hold of it. Then he pulled her back to the picture frame. That'll teach you to obey notices, he said. Sorry, said Katy. I don't think I'll ever do that again. Katy was covered in splodges of sticky paint after she had cleaned herself up. Katy thanked the guard and went to find Grandma. Grandma was snoozing on a comfy chair. There you are, she said, waking up. I hope you've had a lovely time. Yes, thanks, said Katy. You can see all sorts of wonderful things in paintings. It had stopped raining now, so after Katie had bought postcards of her 5 favourite pictures, they went to find a cup of tea and a piece of cake. The end.